and share. We share the verses that Mehdi is going to read now. Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. إن إبراهيم كان أمة قانتا لله حنيفا ولم يك من المشركين شاكرا لأنعمه اجتباه وهداه إلى صراط مستقيم وآتيناه في الدنيا حسنة وإنه في الآخرة لمن الصالحين ثم أوحينا إليك أن اتبع ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين.
صدق الله العظيم. Thank you, Mehdi, for the beautiful recitation. So we were working on Surah Yusuf, as you know, and we covered the introduction, then we covered the first part and part 2. I believe we did section 1, section 2, and got to section 3. In section 3, I believe is verse 38, if I'm not mistaken. Let me share again. Yusuf is, where is share? Yusuf, okay, so this is today's class. In verse 38 of Surah Yusuf that we are working on, Yusuf is saying, وَاتَّبَعْتُ مِلَّةَ آبَائِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ. And I followed the method of my influencers. Aba'i, I usually don't translate it as fathers because I explained that many times. There is a biological father who is, we call father, and there is a non-biological father that could be your father but influenced you in your life. So he's not your biological father but influenced you. And you could be influenced by your biological father. That's the word ab. So the method of my influencers, Ibrahim and Ishaq and Yaqub. If you remember before the break, I brought to you the last ayah of Yusuf, which is the very first page, and I'm sure I told you to review that. So I hope you guys reviewed it. But what I focus on is the last ayah of Surah Yusuf is teaching us that in these stories, those narrations, they're not fairy tales to just hear them because they're not asatirul awalin. Asatirul awalin is the fairy tales. And I think with time, we made the truth of the stories as asatirul awalin, as fairy tales, because we did not stop to learn from the Quran. We've been taking information from aba, which is other influences. So when the Quran tells you ibra, we said it many times that ibra is a passage in your life. And then last time I went and reminded you about what does it mean Ibrahim, what does it mean Ismail, Ishaq. Each name in the Quran has something to do with you. You got it's part of your life as well. Okay. And that's something you have the video, you go back to. But today I'm starting with the millah of Ibrahim. Why I'm bringing this, I just explained. Because I cannot help you to understand that part of Surah Yusuf unless we review the millah of Ibrahim. Ibrahim, again, comes from the word barham. So you can see here, Inna Ibrahim. It's written with ya, okay? And I like to put it in red. Inna Ibrahim, you can see the ya here. Ibrahim was not Ibrahim until he went through the process of Barham. What is Barham? Barham is observing. and take time to observe, to use his senses and grow. Then he became Ibrahim. What is the ya in the language? It means at each moment of his life. So he became Ibrahim. Ibrahim was a nation. What does it mean, a nation? In every nation, you have political system, economic system, educational system, every system that you can find in a good nation, Ibrahim had. Why? Because he was devoted to Allah. He was devoted to source. And he was not among whom the associators, associating anything other than Allah. He was shakiran li'an'umihi. He appreciated the blessings he was given. One of the blessings that the Quran repeats all the time is the senses that we have. The brain, the eyes, the ears, your own senses. They are part of your vehicle, okay, to drive and learn in this life. So he was appreciative to the blessings. How do you appreciate the blessings? By using them. Okay, we will see why I'm saying using them. Then ishtabahu, then he was chosen. Wahadahu, then he was guided. So you see, all the time the Quran, you find the guidance, it comes after you make the choice. So, and we did it before. Remember when we did it, Surah Al-Isra. كُلًّا نُمِدُّ هَؤُلَاءِ وَهَؤُلَاءِ. If you choose this way, you'll be guided to it and you can get extension and help. If you choose this way, you'll be guided to it and you get extension and help. But Ibrahim was using his blessings for the right thing. That's why it says we guided him to the straight path. And we approached him in this dunya. Dunya is this immediate life. Min dunu. Dunu is the closeness. This is the reality that's closest to you, that you're able to experience. And innahu, in the other. Al-akhirah is the other, is not the and, is the other. Lamin as-salihin, among the righteous ones. Thumma, then, and thumma in Arabic comes like with time. So there was many years and thousands of years after Ibrahim came Muhammad. And then we inspired you. Now, as you read this, as it was revealed to Muhammad, Muhammad is learning from it, inspired to do what? To follow, ittabi, millata Ibrahim. And millah is really the method, the methodology that Ibrahim set for himself. And what is this methodology? Is the Hanafiya. He was a Hanif. And the Hanif, we did it many times, is those who deviate, but deviate for good reason and grow. And we will see in the Quran, it shows us his deviation from what to what. And may I call it, the life of Ibrahim is from doubt to certainty. The life of Musa that we just saw in the last chapter was from fear to harmony. Each prophet had a process to teach you. We saw Miriam. Miriam was what? From opening to what? Expansion. She was told to guard her openings, and that helped her to expand her consciousness. So each prophet, each messenger, each one is here to teach you a passage in your life that you're going to go through. So watch their stories, not as fairy tales, but as a step in your life that you're going to go through. ما كان من المشركين. So note here also Ibrahim is with ya. That's why Muhammad is told, ittabi' millata Ibrahim. He was given now that state of being Ibrahim, like the teacher of Barham, of observation. In Surah Al-Baqarah, if you open your Mus'haf, you'll find Ibrahim here doesn't have a ya. وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ. Doesn't have a ya. Here, Ibrahim is still learning, is still observing, but he's still tested because remember, here it said, ishtabahu. Now, in the Arabic language, ijtaba is you choose someone after mistakes, like someone who learned from his experience. Istafa is different. You choose someone without even mistakes. That's why in Adam, you find the Quran tells you, Inna Allah astafa Adam. And then when Adam made mistakes and he repented, the ayah says, وَجْتَبَاهُ رَبُّهُ. Then he has chosen him again because now he learned from his experience. So here Ibrahim is still experiencing and learning. So the verse says, وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ with no ya, بِكَلِمَات. But what did he do? He was tested فَأَتَمَّهُنْ. He completed the test and he used his senses. قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. So now, because he became a ummah in every aspect, he deserves the title of imam, of leadership. So I'm going to make you a leader. So not only is a leader to his community, but it says linnas. He's a leader to mankind. And that's why above here we'll find that we are asked to follow Ibrahim. I don't know why my pen is not working on red, but when I stop sharing, I'll figure this out. Now note, in the same surah, that was 124 in Al-Baqarah, in ayah 127 in Al-Baqarah, it says, وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ. It doesn't have the ya. So when Ibrahim was elevating what? The foundation, al-qawa'id min al-bayt. And al-bayt is not that cube of Kaaba in Mecca. Al-bayt is a domain. What is this domain? This domain was established by Idris. Idris came way, way before Ibrahim. And Idris was the originator of the domain of Allah. That's why we call it Al-Baytullah, Baytullah. It was really established by Idris. The name Idris comes from Daras, and Daras is to study. And we studied, okay, the domain of Allah through the Prophet Idris. And then they forgot about it. And we know after Idris came Ad and Thamud and all of that and all the changes that happened. So it went down. Ibrahim came back to elevate those foundations. And what was he saying as he was elevating them, him and his son Ismail? رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. They were praying and asking for acceptance. رَبَّنَا وَاجْعَلْنَا مُسْلِمَيْنِ لَكَ. So Islam didn't start with Muhammad. وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِنَا أُمَّةً مُسْلِمَةً. So make us submissive, and of our offsprings also offspring submitted. وَأَرِنَا مَنَاسِكَنَا. And, show us or cause us to see our rituals and accept our repentance. So they recognize that as you are experiencing life, you're going to make mistakes. That's normal. It's not because they're prophets, they don't make mistakes. They're prophets because they learned from their mistakes. Then they were chosen to teach. إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ. Indeed, you are the accept repentance, or the acceptor of repentance, and merciful. And now here comes the dua. They asked for a Rasul that come from them, from their offsprings. Our Rabb, and bring from them a messenger who recites to them your signs and teach them the book. And the book is the book of life. It's not the Qur'an. There is a difference. We said it many times. And if you're new, with time, you'll get used to the vocab. It's the book of life, what they call in the Eastern traditions, the Akashic records, what we call in physics, the database. وَالْحِكْمَةِ, wisdom. وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ, يُزَكِّيهِمْ. You see, zakah has nothing to do with money. Zakah has to do with the soul. You develop and cause your soul to grow. وَمَنْ يَرْغَبْ عَنْ مِلَّةَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ. The main reason why I'm really bringing this is for this this ayah here in red. Why? If anyone forsake the method of Ibrahim, is a fool. He's fooling himself. إِلَّا مَنْ سَفِهَ نَفْسَهُ. Because if you don't follow Ibrahim, you're not following Muhammad. And Muhammad was told to follow Ibrahim. And what Ibrahim method is, what we call in the teaching of mathematics, error and trial and error, or the method of elimination when you're solving a system of equations. So in life, every human is going to face problems, is going to face challenges, and he's going to face all that for one reason, his connection to source. And your connection to source, you can only discover it by you following the method of Hanafiya, of, finding yourself on your own, not following forefathers. If the forefathers are following the way of Ibrahim, they will be happy to see you learning from your mistakes and growing and evolving, and they coach you, but they will never force you to be a copy or a Xerox or copy paste of them. وَلَقَدْ اصْطَفَيْنَاهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا. You see, he was chosen in this immediate life, and in the other is among the righteous ones. How did Ibrahim keep deviating? He's talking to his influencer father, Ibrahim. He's telling his father, do you take idols for gods? Here he said asnam. In another ayah, he said timthal, tamathil. So first you have a role model. Then the role model dies. Then you make an idol for him, a picture on an idol, and you want to do exactly what they did. That's how they become idols. آلهة إني أراك وقومك في ضلال مبين. You are really in clarified straying. And it says, وَكَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ مَلَكُوتَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. So we cause Ibrahim to see what? Everything, the possession of the heavens and the earth. I usually call the samawats the above and al-ard, above and below. وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ. That's why I said, I myself call the journey of Ibrahim from doubt to certainty. Where is the doubt? فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلِ. Here is the doubt. He saw a kawkab, a planet. Did he see kawkab at night? Or Jannah alayhi al-layl is what? Al-layl is a metaphor for darkness. And it doesn't say when layl came on everyone. It says on him. Does any layl come, night come only on one person? No. When the darkness overcame him. Ra'a, remember Ra'a, I always say Ra'a is not to see with your eyes, but to see with your mind. He could see in his mind the planets and all of that. Like in his mind, he is saying, there must be a bigger God than that. He said, I don't like the things that disappear, because he can see the planet in his mind and then it may disappear. And even at night, you can see a planet, but it disappears. And then when he saw the moon, he said like, oh, هذا ربي. It means he is connecting with the people that use the planets as gods. So he got into a group of people, and that happens to everyone. At first, when you're growing in high school or whatever, middle school, you go to Sunday school and you follow whatever your parents put you. Then you go to college, you start to get to know other people and you go to what they're doing. Then you go to work, you meet the new people and you follow what they're doing. So it's the group of people that influence you. And then you may come back to your higher self and you start to say, I can only resonate from what I experienced. Basically, that's what Ibrahim is, from doubt to certainty. When he saw the people that worship the moon, he started to perceive the moon as God. And then he said, no. And then he said, لَإِن لَمْ يَهْدِنِي رَبِّي. He's asking for guidance. I will be of the straying folk. So you see, he was always connected to his higher self. He's trying to ask for guidance. That is God? No, that cannot. And this is, again, should be the experience of everyone. Is this true? With Muslims, he's a Shi'i, he's a Sunni. In the Shi'i, you have 12 or whatever groups. In the Sunni, you cannot even count them. And then you come to America, you mix with Christians, Jew, Buddhists, this, and you start to get lost. Which one is the truth? Well, you'll find out the truth if you follow Ibrahim. At the end, he said, ayah 78 is the sun, is the same story. At the end, he said, وَجَّهْتُ وَجْهِي. He's asking to put his direction. His focus on what? الذي فطر السماوات والأرض. He said, this is the cosmos. This is bigger than anything. So the one that originates all of that must be my God. وما أنا من المشركين. I am not going to associate with God anyone else. Okay? Another reminder from Surah Al-Anbiya. I'm going so fast because you guys did this with me over the years, so you know it. For the new students, as you repeat the video, I think there are 4 people that are new here today. Just repeat the video and focus on the verses. I can email you the translation, and then you can send me emails privately. In Surah Al-Anbiya, I'm bringing it to tell you, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ رُشْدَهُ. Now we are approaching him with what? His own integrity. وَكُنَّا بِهِ عَالِمِينَ. We were knowledgeable of him. We are observing him as he's growing and learning and asking and using his senses. إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ وَقَوْمِهِ مَا هَذِهِ التَّمَاثِيلِ. You see, I said tamathil. Tamathil comes from mathal, and the mathal is a role model. You say, and my role model is so-and-so. Note in my teachings, I always avoid to bring the name of any sheikh. We've been doing this for 20 years. I always bring the Qur'an only and what the word means. Because the minute you connect with a human, then this human is still human. And you get out of connecting with God directly. So, and this is what Ibrahim is teaching us. Find your God from your heart, from your connection to God directly, because everyone is different in their journey. So he's saying, what are these tamathil التي أنتم لها عاكفون? We dedicate our lives to study what Bukhari said, what Muslim said, what Ibn Arabi said, what this said, what that guy said. And we forgot to meditate and find what Allah is telling me based on my own experience. And I think that's the message I see here. I don't know if you see it. قالوا وجدنا آباءنا. You see, their answer is simple. That's what we found our آباء, our forefathers, our influences. That's what they were agents to. And we're doing what we found them doing. Do you think Allah put us on earth to be a copy-paste of the others, or he put us on earth to evolve and change and learn? That's what Ibrahim did. يرفع القواعد of البيت. So البيت existed, but he's here to يرفع, elevate. يرفع الله الذين آمنوا. Allah elevated those who are secure. والذين أوتوا العلم درجات. The knowledge can elevate you, in step after step and rank after rank. So we need to gain knowledge and move away from what we found, not to stick to it. You only stick to what? To source. That's the only thing that doesn't change. قال لقد كنتم أنتم وآباؤكم في ضلال مبين. So you and your forefathers were clarified straying. So, connect to Allah. Put your direction. وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض. To Allah. قالوا أجئتنا بالحق. And I love their question here. أجئتنا بالحق. Did you come to us with the truth? أم أنت من اللاعبين? Or just a player? I loved their question. It means they started to think. But I loved more his answer. قال بل ربكم رب السماوات والأرض. He didn't say, I came to you with the truth, because he knows the truth he's experiencing. He cannot tell them what he's experiencing, but he's telling them, I came to you. He didn't even say I came. He said, قال بل ربكم. He's trying to make them think for themselves. رب السماوات والأرض. الذي فطرهن. Like, just look to who originated all of that. وأنا على ذلكم من الشاهدين. He's saying, I witnessed it. I experienced the truth. But you can only experience the truth if you start to think and look at the originator of السماوات والأرض. That was the quick overview. Before I continue, Yusuf, I stop here to take my sip of water and see if you have a comment or a question to stop me before I continue. Did I go so fast? Okay, go ahead, Khalid.
Yes, good afternoon, Fatma, everyone. I just have a quick question about al-mushrikeen, the associators.
Yes.
Who would those be today? I mean, is it just people that associate truth with anything or seek truth from anyone or anything but Allah?
Associator depends on you. If you think that Imam is the best that exists on earth, including Fatma, who's teaching you now, you say it's the best thing for me and I'm going to follow Fatma, I will tell you you're wrong. You're associating me with Allah. I will tell you, here is the translation that I feel that goes with my understanding, with my research, but go, meditate, pray it, and see what resonates with you, take it. What doesn't resonate with you, leave it. So to me, associating with Allah is anyone who comes across your life, even if it's the parents. When it says, فَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِي شَيْئًا, anything, even your parents that gave birth to you, it says respect them, but don't take them as gods. Did I answer you, Khalid?
Yes, thank you. Perfect.
Anyone else? Okay, so I continue. Now we're going to get to Yusuf. And I keep telling you, and learn to learn. So far, everything I'm finding about Yusuf is wrong. Do you have to take what I'm saying? No. But the proofs that I'm bringing, they're very solid, and they are from the dictionary مقاييس اللغة again, and I use even Al-Ain, which came before even مقاييس, and I use Abu Ubaidah, who was killed by, right after the Prophet, because of him going against using the Israeliyat as a mean for tafsir, but he wanted to make people to use the language because it says bilisan in Arabic. So I did a very thorough research about Yusuf. We covered the first part. You guys saw it. And today, in this section, I'm going to go against, again, the mainstream. I've been going against the mainstream for 20 years. I don't know why you're still here, but it means you are realizing it's not true and it doesn't resonate with you what we were taught. And that's how I felt when I got now to this prison story. So in the prison, وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ فَتَيَانِ. So now I'm going to go slow because it's a new concept. Before I was going so fast because it's a overview of what we covered over the years. وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ فَتَيَانِ. Excuse me, I'm going to stop sharing quickly to fix this issue, why my pen is not writing in red, because I love the red to go over the black. So I'm just going to find this quickly. Why are you not doing? Okay, now it's doing it. Come back to share it. Share. So وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ فَتَيَانِ. So a sijin is the prison. And fatayan is two young men entered the prison. Now, it's not only young when you hear fata, because sabi is a young man. What's the difference between sabi and fata? Fata also has fatwa. Fatwa is you ask, you request. It's someone who's constantly looking for answers. So these are two people that are asking questions. We're going to see what the questions they ask. That's why the Quran is calling them fatayan. If they were just young people, it would have used, sabi or ghulam or whatever. قال أحدهما, one of them, إني أراني أعصر خمرا. أعصر خمرا, I see myself what? Al-asir, juice, is you squeeze an orange. You squeeze orange. We call it orange juice. This one is squeezing what? Concealing. Khamar is, we call alcohol khamar because it conceals, it covers the brain, the awareness. When you're not sober, you are, when you are like drunk, okay? you are concealing your awareness. So that's what he's saying, Arani, I see this. وقال الآخر, the other one said, إني أراني أحمل فوق رأسي خبزا. The other one said, I see myself carrying what? Something I set with my power. Khubz, the meaning of khubz is anything you do with your hands, if you go to the dictionary. And that's the beginning of making the bread. They used to make a bread because agriculture started at that time and expanded, and then they take the wheat and they make a bread. But I don't like to translate it as bread. For now, I put it until I find the right word. You know how it always, the first time we discover the truth of an ayah, I'm like looking for the right English word. But this is really the translation of it. It's something that you set with your own power. Okay, so from the wheat, they maybe with their own power, they realize, oh, I can like grind it, and then I can make bread, something to eat from it. So that's what he sees. He sees خبز. تأكل الطير منه. Remember, أكل, it's not to eat. Okay, we did that many times. Akal is to consume. The Quran was very clear. Ibrahim said, وَهُوَ الَّذِي يُطْعِمُنِي وَيَسْقِينِ. Ta'am is food. But akala, the Quran says, تَأْكُلُونَ أَمْوَالَ النَّاسِ. We don't eat the money, but we consume the wealth of others. And wealth could be even knowledge. So, تأكل is consume. الطير, we did it many times, and I still couldn't find the right translation for it. That's why we've been calling it, when we did the story of Suleiman, we kept it the طير, but we said it's someone that can go quick, very fast, something that is very fast. Like the bird can fly and go high first. The thought, the ideas that can come to you, they can fly and go fast, come and go fast. That's the word taya, what it means. And right now I'm doing word for word. And then usually when I finish, I can summarize and you can see the meaning, the big picture. نبئنا بتأويله, inform us of its interpretation. And you can see already they know that this person has that ability. Otherwise, they will not even ask. Inna naraka, we see you. Naraka, min al-muhsinin. So we see you as the doers of good. Let's keep going and we'll see what Yusuf will reply. قال لا يأتيكما طعام. You see, it doesn't say أكل here, it says طعام. ترزقانه. That's provided, approaches you. إلا نبأتكما بتأويله. So I will give you the interpretation before the food comes to you. Why? Because they're in jail. In jail, you don't see anything. There is no window, there is nothing. You are covered. So you can tell time by when they bring to you breakfast, they bring to you lunch, they bring to you dinner. So I don't know what time he's speaking now, whether they're going to bring to them lunch or dinner, but it has to be between the meals. So he's saying, before the next meal, I will give you the interpretation. ذَلِكُمَا مِمَّا عَلَّمَنِي رَبِّي. So you see, he was not quick in responding. He's saying, I will reply to you because he wanted to tune in and receive the information. ذَلِكُمَا مِمَّا عَلَّمَنِي رَبِّي. So he wanted to receive information first. إِنِّي تَرَكْتُ. Why I was given this knowledge? Because I left مِلَّةَ, the method, قَوْمٍ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. See, he started to give you a hint of why he did not agree to that woman and to her plot. قوم لا يؤمنون بالله وهم بالآخرة هم كافرون. Like they are covering the truth of the other life. Basically, why? Because if you are not covering the truth that there is another life, you know you're going to live the consequences of your choices. So the mu'min always make good choices because he knows, and we've seen that in Surah Ghafir, in verse 11, when they said, رَبَّنَا أَمَتَّنَا اثْنَتَيْنِ وَأَحْيَيْتَنَا اثْنَتَيْنِ. Is there a way out? You caused us to live twice and die thrice. Is there a way out? There is no way out if you keep making bad choices. Your way out is when you make good choices. We've seen that in Surah Al-Hadid. ارجعوا وراءكم. Go back to get your light. So that's the millah that he refused. And I followed with tabatu millata abai. So you see why I had to do the review. And I followed the method of my influencers, Ibrahim, Ishaq, Yaqub. Note what he's saying. Ibrahim, Ishaq, Yaqub. He did not bring Ismail, even though we saw Ibrahim is doing the foundation with Ismail. This is a question I want you to answer me later on, if you can like receive something from now to then. ما كان لنا أن نشرك بالله من شيء. There is no way a little thing we associate. ذلك من فضل الله علينا وعلى الناس. I love when he is not saying only upon us, but he is saying this is upon every individual, every human. ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون. Most people don't appreciate their own life and their own gifts and their own what? Fadl, grace. Allah has blessed you with a good body, a good brain, a good eyes, a good ears, a good hands, a good legs, a good everything, and told you take care of these blessings. And then you're going to tune into me and expand, because that's what the vehicle is for. You're taking an avatar to expand your consciousness. Ya sahibi as-sijn. He's calling them ya sahibi. So they spent some time together to become companions, because you don't say to someone sahib until you feel the companionship. Like Ashab al-Kahf, the companions of the Kahf. Ya sahibi as-sijn, the companions of the prison. Arbab. Look, I didn't want to put Rabbs here because I leave Rabb only for Allah. Arbab, masters, because Arbab is the plural of Rabb. But when it is Rabb al-Alameen, Rabb al-Nas, I say Rabb, R-A-B-B. I don't even like to translate it Lord, because Lord has fear in it. But Rabb has tarbiyah, nurturing, teaching, guiding, coaching. All of that is in Rabb. That's why we call the mother Rabbat al-Bayt, the father Rabbul Bayt. If they're good, of course. Mutafarriqun. Are you looking for so many masters and Rabb? Mutafarriqun, divided. Everyone is saying something different. Khayr, is it better? Amillah al-wahid al-qahar. Do you want to listen to this group or 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 this group? Or one God? Pray, ask for guidance. Like Ibrahim said, Inni dahibun ila rabbi liyahdini, to guide me. Do you think if you tell Allah, Allah, please guide me, and you say it from the bottom of your heart, and you let go of everything you learn and learn to learn and release the programming, do you think Allah is not going to answer? And you meditate and you ask, definitely is going to answer. Because it says, doesn't change promise. وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمْ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Ask and I respond to you. مَا تَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِهِ. We spent so much time, and I can speak with my own experience. I studied most of those books in traditional books when I went, I did 4 years of Islamic education and then the masters. You're talking 6 years. They make you study every single book. And each book is contradicting the other book. At the end, you come out and you have nothing to explain except say, this is what we were told. And that's what people say. That's what the scholars said. So if the scholar is wrong, do I have to follow him? Or that's what the scholar said. And now people are following scholars to the things that are like regular choices in life. Should I eat this or that? Should I do this or that? Everybody is just following, and they tell you the sheikh said. Come on. So where is you? You. ما تدعون ما تعبدون من دون الله. You are agent, something below it. سميتموها. You gave it that name. سميتموها, and ism is not really name. Is not calling this is the sheikh of this or that. No. سميتموها comes from sumu. Asma is sumu. That's why we say Bismillah. Sumu is ulu. Like only Allah is higher than anything. So I do everything by the name of Allah, by the guidance of Allah, by the teaching of Allah, activating the attributes of Allah that are within me as potentials, instead of being a blind follower and saying, this is how we found our forefathers. أنتم وآباؤكم are the same. ما أنزل الله بها من سلطان. Look at the power Yusuf has. No matter what test he went through it, in the domain of the wife of Aziz, of the Malik, of the king, he's still so powerful. This is Yusuf in jail, in a test, and look how he's responding with the power. ما أنزل الله بها من سلطان. Like, those things that you follow have no authority. They can't even prove to you anything. Go anywhere in our culture, it's depressing. They can't prove anything from the Qur'an, but yet everybody is following. In الحكم إلا لله. We listen to people's judgments, and they make us feel bad, shame, blame, all of these things that can destroy ourselves. And yet the judgment is to Allah only. Allah is the only judge. أَمَرَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّهُ. You reach freedom by just following this one ayah. ذَلِكَ الدِّينُ الْقَيِّمُ. You know the word al-qayyim here? It tells you أقم الصلاة from qiyam, qawam. It tells you يوم القيامة, the period of qiyamah, from qawam, from something upright. Really, the true meaning of qawam and qiyam is determination. And it says ذلك الدين القيم. That's the system, the upright system. ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. And the problem, we want to follow the majority. And the Quran is saying you, the majority don't know. And every time you come something new, like Ibrahim did, like every prophet did, they tell you, oh, what are you doing, Fatma? What are you teaching? Everybody else doesn't do that. But the Quran is telling you everybody else is the majority that don't know. Ya sahiba al-sijn. He's telling them to use their minds. Ya sahiba al-sijn. And I feel when he's talking here, and maybe Mehdi can help with this, it reminds me of Surah Luqman that you did with the youth. When Luqman is talking and advising, he says, Ya bunay. Ya bunay. It's not his own child. He didn't say, Ya waladi. He's saying, Ya bunay. Like it's someone I built. I'm teaching. I'm coaching. Yusuf here is saying, Ya sahiba al-sijn. He's talking gently, just like when Allah told Musa, اذهب إلى and Musa and his brother, اذهبا إلى فرعون وقولا له قولا لينا. Be gentle. Ya sahiba al-sijn. Of course, I'm not gentle when I teach you guys because you've been with me for 20 years. If you're new, now let me stop sharing and talk to my new students first. My new students, I'm not that mean. I just get in the flow, but I'm gentle, so don't run away in your trial today. I go back and get to صاحبي السجن. أما أحدكما فيسقي ربه خمرا. One of you pours drink for his Rabb. Okay? And you're going to tell me, is it Rabb al-Alameen? I should put it for his master, but I wanted to put Rabb here and explain it. Okay? But I should not put it with a big R. I should put Rab with a smaller R. For his Rab. See, I'm catching my typo mistakes. So one of you, okay, will pours drinks for his Rab. وأما الآخر, and the other one, فيصلب. Now, the word salab is hard. We say salb is hard. It's not crucify. And that's already a change from the traditional one. فيصلب, hardened. فتأكل, تأكل is consumes. الطير, so the tire consumes from his what? رأسه. رأس is not the head, is the capital. I don't want to translate it head, because in the Qur'an, I remember I told you, the Qur'an never talks to us about our bodies as much as talks to the soul. The word رأس in the Quran usually comes about رؤوس أموالكم. When it talks about the area of riba, it says رؤوس أموالكم, the capital of your wealth. In the Arabic culture, even in the Indo-Pak culture, they call the leader of something Rais, okay? Rais, the captain, the leader, okay? That's what the word رأس. You say someone رأس ماله is the houses that he owns. That's the wealth of someone, or the capital of his wealth. He owns homes. Someone رأس ماله, the capital of his wealth is his own knowledge. Even though he may not own homes, but he's very knowledgeable, he has very intelligent, he can gain wealth easily. So رأس is really the capital that you have. قضي الأمر الذي فيه تستفتيان. قضي الأمر, like the matter that you are inquiring. You see, تستفتيان has the word feta. Okay, the same root, feta. تستفتيان, inquiring. About is settled. And now, here comes the difference between this and the tradition. In the tradition, they tell you the one who's gonna survive this is the one who's gonna do that, is the first one. The second one is gonna be crucified. I have no clue where they got that one from, because the Quran didn't say anything. You see, let's continue and see if the Quran gives you anything. What the Quran says, وَقَالَ لِلَّذِي, and he said, لِلَّذِي ظَنَّ, that he thought, because, remember I said that many times, ظَنَّ. Remember when I told you, where did he say, عَلَّمَنِي رَبِّي? Where did I just say it? Here. Remember when I told you, when you tune in, whether in a meditative state or you request, you go to sleep, you get a dream, when you tune in to get information, it's very instantaneous. It comes to you quickly, and then you have to sit with it until you're able to prove it. I'm speaking with my experience, okay? You sit with it to prove it. But you can never say, this is 100% the truth. No one should say that. If you say that, then don't follow them. Because there is always a certain uncertainty. Okay. Whoever is not muted, please mute yourself. Okay. That's where he's saying, waqala, he is saying to the one he thought, dhanna. You cannot have 100%.
Not here, baby, upstairs.
I said, please mute yourself. We can hear you. Whoever said not here, baby, mute yourself. وقال للذي ظن أنه ناجي منهما. Based on the information he received from his Rabb. He said, Rabbi. Note another thing when he said, ذلكما مما علمني ربي. He didn't say ذلكما مما علمني رب العالمين or رب الناس. Because sometimes when you tune in, you get information from your higher self. The higher self is your own individuated unit of consciousness. That's, of course, it is part of the larger consciousness, which is Allah. And we did that when we did the story of Musa and Al-Khidr. It is in my YouTube channel. You can go and review it if you want to, or I can review it another day. That you get information either from your own higher self, when Al-Khidr said, Aradtu, I wanted. It was information from his higher self. You get information from the Malaika, the Mala al-A'la, when Al-Khidr said, we want it. You get information from Allah when he said, Arada Rabbuk, when it is Allah, okay? وَقَالَ لِلَّذِي ظَنَّ أَنَّهُ نَاجٍ مِّنْهُمَا. So someone will be saved from both of them. اذْكُرْنِي عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ, okay? Remember me to your Rabb. I'm going to leave it with a little R. So the shaitan, the separate self, caused him to forget remembering his Rabb. The shaitan caused him. Who's him here? I put caused him. But you guys have to ask me this question. Who's him? I was expecting it. I'm not going to answer it, but I wanted you to think about it. So you see, that's how the Qur'an ended that part of the prison. After that, it's going to show us the king. That's the next part. Where does it say it is the first one that's going to be saved, not the second one? It doesn't say anything. The Qur'an left it for you. So if you are really using the language of the Qur'an, the lisan Arabi, you're not going to agree with the traditional. Traditional, they just saw this. Yasqi rabbahu khamra. Oh, they said he's going to be with the king and he's going to give the king some alcohol, so he's not going to die. And then they said, but the other one is going to be crucified. And then when he is crucified, it will be bread on his head, and then the birds and come and eat from his head. If you take it word for word, you don't see this. Okay? So do you want me to answer the questions, or do you want to be part of the thinking first? I usually prefer the Socratic. Where is Nasri? Is he here? When we teach math, Nasri, what do we do? Do we give answers, or do we want people to think? A good math teacher is the one who put the definition, the theorems, and want you to think. I did the translation and want you to think. I gave a hint. I said, I don't think it's the first one. I think it's the second one. But why would I think it's the second one?
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not as advanced as everybody. This is just my third class, but I've been noticing a lot the elements that, or maybe because it's Easter today, but the elements that we spoke about have a lot to do with Christianity. Like when you were saying the bread, what crossed my mind would be, the bread that you get at communion with the wine, the alcohol, khamra. And then at the same time, the word crucifixion comes in the middle that shows up as if it's, to completely show you who is going to be staying and who is going to be understanding.
You mean Christianity was also learning from the Talmud? They were also victims,
Yeah,
just like the
exactly.
Muslims.
Yeah, so it was just like a repetition, and we're talking about the same thing. I mean, for God's sake, when they choose a pope, they put a tayr to fly.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And the
it's just
Quran
like,
came to correct all of
yeah,
these things that started from some group,
yeah.
and we
They
just,
didn't even know that they started it. Like it's like picking
yeah, the
up the missing
Christians don't
pieces.
know. They were victims, yeah. Now, when we are told Millata Ibrahim, and that's why I started with it, the method of Ibrahim, isn't it the method of Ibrahim to think and say like, oh, it doesn't make sense to me, and start to
Yeah.
think deeper?
Basically, he went into observation within himself in order to understand the outside instead of understanding the outside to understand himself.
Mm. Yeah,
How I'm seeing, if I'm understanding, like, because I wrote Ibrahim is observation and growth. There's no force in it, and which is basically going from doubt to certainty.
yes.
And
And
so
Yusuf
doubt,
is very certain. And as
yeah,
he's speaking, Yusuf is speaking with certainty. Like he said, Taraktu, I left that millah, the millah of the qawm he grew up with.
yeah,
Like he was in that castle.
Reminds me of the
اتبع.
word militia that forces you to do what they want you to do
Yeah.
to survive.
Anyone else? You know, it's only 1 minute to the hour. I feel like I should not give you the answer, but I'm telling you what I lean to as a hint, and that maybe will help you to think about it, to meditate about it, and see what yourself receive. And that way I will be like Ibrahim. I don't give answer. I'll be a good math teacher as well. Nasri was saying with his heart. Nasri is a good math teacher, and I'm very proud of his discovery that one day he will share it with us. Most of it I didn't understand, Nasri, because I forgot my math. Unfortunately, I forgot lots of math because of the research I'm doing for the Qur'an. He knows what I'm talking about.
I'll have to add, Nasri's probably, you're really good at this. I don't think you guys understand how good he is at math, at teaching math, because I took his classes, so he's really good.
He was a student of Nasri, yes.
Very good teacher. And funny too. I miss that. It's over 10 years now, which it feels like yesterday.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Mehdi. Nasri doesn't want to show us his face today. Why? Are you embarrassed that you discovered something?
No, I'm not. Thank you. No, alhamdulillah. It's just a universal principle of harmony. That's all.
Yes. From fear
But
to harmony.
yeah, maybe I don't like talking about it. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I do want to talk about it. But I don't.
You were looking for the right timing.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
But
wait
it's
for
just
the right timing.
yeah. Basically, everything has to be in harmony
Yes.
in order for things to work.
Exactly.
Okay, I think that's enough. But
Okay.
because once people visit the website, it explains everything, and I have more simple examples for people to understand. It's just a simple design tool that you have to follow for harmony to work in order for things to stay together. So the universe demands harmony.
Exactly. What are your thoughts about that part we just covered about Yusuf, Nasri?
Yeah, I think it's obvious that it's not, with the Ras, because even with the Ras and Mal, it's obviously it's not had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From the Quran, if you just stay consistent. So yeah, there's a much deeper story there, much deeper meaning. So this is exciting too.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
will connect that part next week. I'm going to connecting it to the ayah of wudu. They wanted to put ras as head to create for you the meaning of that ayah as the ayah of wudu, even though it has nothing to do with wudu. If anything, that's the ayah that will explain to us the yam that we were discovering with Musa. Because it says, فَتَيَمَّمُوا Tayammamu, find your yam. Okay, so I'm giving you so many hints to think about for those who were with me in the story of Musa. If you're new, don't feel overwhelmed. It takes time. It's a process. So trust the process, okay? And welcome to the class today. I don't think I'll answer the question today because it's 2:00. I don't like to go over 2:00 because too much information makes you just hate the class. Okay, and inshallah, we'll see you next week, okay? And next week, we'll spend some time discussing why do you think 1 versus 2? Don't go because I said 2, you take 2. You may agree with the traditional 1 and take 1. Be you, okay? Don't be a follower. Be yourself. And when you come, you'll find out my excuse why I go for 2. Your excuse if you go for 2 or 1, share it with us. Love you all and see you inshallah next Sunday. Salam.
Thank you.
Wa
Bye-bye.
alaikum assalam. Thank you very much.
Salam. Okay, and meeting.